Hello everyone. 3 important days. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday as we count down to September 16th, the most important day this year. The Golden Jubilee, Golden Jubilee independence of Papua New Guinea. This week it's the military week. And this broadcast is being brought to you with a combined coverage of NBC TV, MTV, and the host, TV1. I'm John Eggins, your host, and I am assisted by Bradley Valanaki, my friend. How are you, Bradley?
Good to be here, John. Really good and excited for this program.
Thank you, and we're also graced. We're also graced by the presence of a very important person from the maritime element of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. He is Lieutenant Commander Terence Mugugia. Commander, thank you very much for coming on to this show because your contributions as we go along with the fleet review will be very, very important.
Thank you for having me, sir. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Mugugia, it's a familiar name within the disciplined forces. Your father was a policeman, wasn't he?
That's correct, sir. My father was a
Commissioned
commissioned police officer.
And
Yes.
you're in the maritime element of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force.
I am, sir.
You're keeping it in the discipline.
Yes, sir. Maintaining the legacy.
Okay, thank you. We will hear more from you later on. And as the fleet review will be coming to you from APEC House in Port Moresby at Ella Beach, we have Jasmine Eru Jack on location down there just to give us a rundown on what's happening down there. Jasmine.
Thank you, John. I'm here at the APAC House as excitement is building in Papua New Guinea hosts a full fleet review this morning, a rare and historic occasion as part of PNG Defence Force Week and the country's 50th independence anniversary. Now, this is seen as the first ever fleet review in the country, marking it as a significant and rare moment in PNG's history. We're currently seeing distinguished guests as well as the PNG Defence Force Defence Force arriving here at the APAC House. Now, preparations are underway as 8 vessels from the PNG Defence Force Maritime, joined by regional navies, prepare to sail past His Excellency the Governor-General Sir Bob Dodai, who will be arriving at around 9:45 this morning at the APAC House to officially review the fleet that will commence soon. As each vessel passes the review point, they will salute to the Governor-General, and in response, 2 ceremonial guns will be fired. This spectacular maritime salute honors PNG's proud naval traditions and recognizes the important work done by our defense force in the nation as well as in the Pacific regions. Now, we will be expecting the Indian ship INS Kadmat, who will be the first to pass the review points. Now, they're from the Indian Navy. Now, this fleet review runs until midday today, and members of the public are encouraged to come down and watch the site and be part of what is truly a historic occasion for our maritime nation, as well as the country's 50th independence anniversary. People haven't turned up yet. However, we are expecting a slow gathering here along the beach front. I'll give you all the insights throughout the day. Over to you, John and Bradley.
Jasmine, at Ella Beach, standing on the eastern side of APEC House, I'd like to think, and that was the Ella Beach at the back of her. No doubt it'll be packed to capacity as the day progresses. Now, Lieutenant Commander, the ships are preparing. I saw a little bit of a glimpse of some of them getting into position to when they will go. To just go through that a little bit for us.
Okay, so for right now, as you saw in the footage, you saw the INS Kadmat. So
Okay.
she will be the first ship coming off the wharf, and you'll have in succession of about 3 to 5 minutes. Every ship that will be participating in the formation will also start to detach independently off the wharf and making their procession towards the review area in front of the APEC House.
It's going to be quite exciting. People have not seen that kind of thing before. It'll be a very, very exciting moment.
Absolutely, sir. It's the first of its kind, mind you, for the country in this scale and magnitude. So, yes, it'll be.
Wow. Okay, I'm sure we'll see some more of that. Now, in preparation, there's a shot of the ship. Commander, can you talk about that ship?
Yes, that's the INS Cadmat. That's a corvette ship. She's based in southeast India. She sailed all the way from India just to come and participate in this particular occasion upon the invite from the commander.
That's very, very good of them. That's very thoughtful of them. They are really gracing our important day, the Indian government, the Indian naval element of their defense force.
Absolutely, sir.
And I
that
think,
is fantastic.
And I
That
think,
is
John, one thing to also consider is when we have countries from the Commonwealth also showing up here for special event, we are part of that bigger family, and of course India included.
All right. Well, in this fleet preview that we will have later in the day, I would like us to just go to an important act or important event that took place at the time of independence in 1975, that the two RPIR of Moyam Barracks, soldiers there, at least 15 of them, decided to do something about word that gotten around among political leaders that the government after independence would get rid of the military, from fears that from what they had heard from countries in Africa, that after independence the military would take over in coups and control. So they were a little bit sensitive about that, and there was some discussion about whether to do away with the military and have the police force instead. Now, these particular soldiers, they decided to do something about that. They said that shouldn't be the case. We're a military, and that we'll look after the people of the country and the country. And they decided to do something which I think is forgotten in time, but is edged into the military history of Papua New Guinea. And here is a package. In the lead-up to Papua New Guinea's independence in 1975, there were moments of excitement and anxiety. One such time confronted the Defense Force after suggestions that the force would be disbanded from fears of military coups after independence as evident in some African countries. Caught in the crossfire were soldiers, proud Papua New Guineans who vowed to protect the country, but they also faced the possibility of losing their jobs if the Defense Force was no more. A group of soldiers decided to show their true patriotism, an act that is now etched into Papua New Guinea's military history.
As you know, U.S. under Australian administration. Our commanding officer was also Australian. You probably know him. He later on became Governor General of Australia, Mike Jeffries. He was commanding officer, our commanding officer there. So he came up with this idea about walking from Wewak to Port Moresby. And we did intensive 2 months training, just walking all over discipline.
Conversations to do away with the Defense Force in preference for police were real among political leaders in the early days. Many feared that democracy in Papua New Guinea would follow the same path in some African countries where militaries toppled elected governments. Members of the Defense Force got wind of suggestions to disband the army. They talked about it.
We are showing government that Defense Force, we're not overthrow the government, we're behind the government, we support them.
It was during one such time that a group of soldiers coincidentally met with the then regional member for East Sepik and Chief Minister Michael Samare while playing golf at Moyam Barracks near Wewak. There were 16 of them from the 2R PIR. They expressed their concerns to the Chief Minister, who assured them that the army would remain. He subsequently followed it up with the House of Assembly. The army would remain.
So, true to his word, some times later, we had that government had made a decision to stay in the force. So that work was return of good gesture for Sir Michael Somalia.
Happy at that news, the soldiers decided to walk from Wewak to Port Moresby with a letter from their commanding officer to the Chief Minister.
In the morning, we left Wewak about 2 in the morning, not about 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. It was not a big drama. We came up, there were soldiers and the families came up watching us, but we formed up at the gate, just inside the gate. Commanding officer came down and he was kind of man, he didn't talk much. He came down and he gave me those 2 envelopes. And he said, they are gold in those 2 envelopes. And you make sure you deliver them safely, Moresby.
They left Wewak in August 1975. It took them 6 weeks to reach Port Moresby. From Wewak they walked to Madang and all the way to Lae, and from Lae across to Port Moresby along the Bulldog track. They could not reach Michael Somare to hand over the letter, but gave it instead to another politician, Albert Marikiki.
So I delivered to Sir Marikiki.
Where did you deliver it?
Down at the Central Government building at Waigani, in front of that.
50 years on, this act to defend and protect the Westminster parliamentary democracy by the Defence Force was reenacted. The difference here is that the walk, a relay involving a total of 77 soldiers from different barracks. 19 began the walk from Moyam Barracks to Madang in early July. From there, the ritual was continued by 23 soldiers from the Madang Engineering Unit. They walked to Lae, and from Lae to Gulf, the walk was continued by the Long Range Reconnaissance Unit. The final leg to Port Moresby was carried out by 15 1R PIR from Tarama Barracks on the 1st of September. The next day after arriving, the soldiers marched to Parliament. Completing that sacred act of patriotism, the delivery of the letter that said thank you to the government for maintaining the Defence Force and that the force would remain loyal. But this time, the letter was replicated by a baton passed on between soldiers along the way and eventually handed over to the naval officer of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force, Commodore Philip Polowara.
From Wewak to Port Moresby, the walk was the reason why we as an organization, the Papua New Guinea Defence Force, exists today. That walk was to justify why Papua New Guinea needed a defence force on the eve of our independence in 1975.
Wow, it was probably Ted Dero at that time, the commanding officer of the Defence Force, and now the head of the Defence Force is Polowara. He takes the baton. It's quite a significant movement, quite a story, I think. It demonstrates the commitment of the Defence Force and standing up to its pledge to protect the country and do whatever the country requires it to do, be it in civic activities, be it in military support, be it a call out to even Vanuatu to assist their military, all of those. So, Lieutenant Commander, your take on all that?
Absolutely, sir. It really does demonstrate the loyalty that the men and women of the Papua New Defence Force has towards the country. It's also historical, and you mentioned initially that it's etched in the history of this country and forms part of the bedrock of the nation in the years coming towards the next 50 years. So yes, absolutely, sir. I totally agree with that.
So what's the mood in the Defence Force like right now? Soldiers, be it the maritime, the land, the air, they're all united, they're all patriotic about the country?
Absolutely. There's a large sense of excitement all throughout the units within the Defence Force at the moment, yes, sir. Contributing towards the nation and participating with the people, so it's a sense of unity and belongingness again, reinstilling again that feeling of loyalty. Absolutely.
Okay. Bradley?
Yeah, well, just looking at the pictures and the package there of the walk that happened, it's very patriotic, and over the years it's become sort of a ceremonial and to mark this important contribution that the men in green and white and whatever you will of the PNG Defence Force contribute to nation building.
Yes. Yeah, we've been head above water. When you look at other countries now in a similar predicament as ours, that hey, we prevailed, and much of that is owed to the hard work and commitment, and as we say, patriotism of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. All right, this is our live telecast of the Fleet Show, of the Fleet Review today. An exciting time, as we will get into it later. We'll go for a short break right now.
I see so much potential in the young generation of Papua New Guineans. So I took it upon myself to bridge the gap where music, my strongest suit, can connect me with the opportunity to pour all my knowledge into them. My message to the new upcoming music artists here in Papua New Guinea, stay focused. Don't only just look here in Papua New Guinea that this is all you've got. No, the world is your oyster. This is one thing that I try and train their mindset and reset it so they can understand that they can take over the world. I just want to wish every Papua New Guinean a massive happy 50th anniversary.
You're back to our live telecast of the Fleet Review marking Papua New Guinea's 50th independence anniversary. The Fleet Review a little later in our segment. But for now, the fleet, the ships that have come to Port Moresby, to Papua New Guinea from different regions of the country and different parts of the world to take part in this important day. And of course, the people of Port Moresby were given the opportunity to at least visit or go on board and see for themselves the ships and experience that. And Lieutenant Commander Mugugia, tell us about a little bit about that. All the ships and they're different. Are they have they been involved in military actions? What kind of ships were they?
Absolutely, sir. So over the course of the 2 days on the 2nd and 3rd of this month, we had open day visits for at least 4 ships. We had the INS Kadmat, the FNS Auguste Benebig from the French, and also the Voya Nahau Kula from Tonga, and all Papua New Guinean ships that were open to the public. So vast array and range of ships. You have corvettes right down to smaller patrol boats. So it was open throughout, and we had mostly, I think, about almost 3,000 people over the range of the 2 days coming to visit the ships on those days. So yes, sir.
Really?
I think we have live pictures coming there of a French ship. It will be good to talk about that one.
Absolutely. So that's a corvette from the French Navy. She's based in New Caledonia, the FONC, French Armed Forces of New Caledonia. So she sailed all the way from New Caledonia, responding to the Command Chief of Defense Force invitation to participate in the fleet review.
Well, that and all the other ships will be part of the fleet review. We will see all of that later in the day. But here is a little bit of a snapshot of the experience people of Port Moresby got when they went on board some of those ships. Of those ships, talk to the people, explain to them how it was all about? Okay, Bradley.
Yep.
These are, of course, live pictures. We just told that the experience of Papua New Guinea is going on board to the ships over the last 2 days is not ready. We'll talk about the current maneuvering that's going on. They are now getting into position for the fleet review, which will be happening from 10 o'clock onwards, Lieutenant Commander.
That's right, sir. So now you can see on the footage, live footage, we have the second ship in the formation moving past Paga Point. That's Papua New Guinean ship, the HMPNG's Gilbert Toropo, right now in the footage. So they are proceeding now into station as we speak, sir.
That ship there will be... And of course, what about the other countries, the other Pacific Island countries? And talk a little bit about our own ships that are named after some of our commanders.
Absolutely, sir. We have 3 ships that are participating, the Papua New Guinean ships that are participating in our own fleet review. You have the HMPNG's Ted Diro, named after Ted Diro himself. The HMPNG's Rokus Lokinap, named after Rokus Lokinap. And the HMPNG's Gilbert Toropo, all former chiefs of defense forces, respectively, over the years.
Ships are named after them.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Wow,
that's correct.
wow. And the last commander of the defense force, Gilbert Toropo, he's from the Highlands.
He is from the
Highlands.
Highlands,
He gets a ship named after him. How about that?
Absolutely. Coincidentally, the ship's commanding officer is also a Highlander from Jiwaka province, sir.
Wow.
So there you go.
How about that?
There you
Well,
go,
it makes
sir.
me feel a little bit better from the Highlands.
There you go, sir. All proud
Yes,
of
yes.
Indians.
Bradley.
Yeah, I think, John, looking at the ships itself, there's something unique about the ships itself, and also this week, especially for this, for the maritime element, of course, for the Chief of Defense now is also a seaman himself. Must be a special occasion for you, especially sitting in the studio and looking at the ships.
It is a proud moment for the Navy. It's a chance for us to showcase our rich history and tradition and skills. Yes, exactly. So the current Chief of Defence Force, Rear Admiral, who was also a former ship's commanding officer himself during his time in operations.
So he's the second to rise to the rank of commander of the PNGDF.
Absolutely, the second naval officer to head the Defence Force after Commodore Ilau, Peter Ilau.
Peter Ilau, that's correct.
You're a ranking officer. I mean, I'm sure there are times in your military life that you'd like to excel right up to the top.
Well, everyone aspires to achieve the highest dreams, sir.
Yeah. All right, all right. Now talk about the military tattoo. That'll come on in the next, I think tomorrow, the next event, but just give us a little brief on that.
Okay, sir. So the military tattoo will start on the 5th and 6th. That's Friday and Saturday. So essentially, it's a combination of all ceremonial aspects of the military. So you have marching bands. The theme for this particular tattoo for us will be Pacific theme. So you will have, on top of the normal traditional military demonstrations, you will also have some aspects of cultural activities integrated into that show as well, so over the course of the 2 days or 2 evenings.
And all the other participating navies will have, or militaries will have their own specific performances, be it in band groups or cultural activities even. Are we expecting some surprises from like India maybe?
Absolutely. It'll be a new for all of us actually, sir. So currently they are rehearsing, so it will be a spectacle for the evenings on the two nights. Absolutely.
So it's something for the people of Port Moresby. And if you're listening to this, if you're part of this telecast, I think the place to go and see will be a visit to the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium in Port Moresby to appreciate on display majestical rhythm, discipline, acts of military forces of the region and other parts of the world who will be part of our big day. And I think it will be a moment to remember if people of Port Moresby just quietly went down there and enjoyed and take in that moment, right?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Bradley.
All right, so John, I think we have a package there already ready for us to take on about the Open Day celebrations that happened over the last 2 days. And here it is. Let's have a look.
My name is Eric Aikung. My rank is a sub-lieutenant. I've been with the Navy for almost 10 years now, and I'm posted on board a ship, one of our Navy ships, HMPNG's Cape Gloucester, as the executive officer or the second in command. On a personal level, I've always admired my old man who was in the service for almost 35 years. So, having grown up admiring my father, I've decided that this is my calling, and I've decided to come and join the Navy. But on a more professional level, I've always been enthusiastic and keen in joining the Defence Force. Most particularly in the Navy. Patrolling our waters for surveillance and everything. So that's what motivated me to taking up this noble profession in the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. Okay, the vessel that we're standing on right now is HMPNG's Cape Gloucester, one of 2 landing craft heavies we have in the PNGDF maritime element. That's amongst our fleet of ships. The other 4 are patrol boats, Garden class patrol boats, which was just gifted to us by the Royal Australian Navy, which are HMPNG's Tediro, HMPNG's Focus Tokinop, HMPNG's Francis Agui, and HMPNG's Gilbert Roropo. So all in all, in the PNG Defence Force maritime element, we have 6 vessels, which one of these is one of the landing crafts, HMPNG's Cape Gloucester. Amongst all the PNGDF units, we have 2 Defence Force establishments for the PNGDF maritime element. So the one that we are at right now is HMPNG's Basilis. This unit is for landing craft heavy ships. And then you have HMPNG's Tarango up in Manus, which are for the 4 patrol boats which I've aforementioned. PNGDF Week, all right, it's just to commemorate our 50 years of independence, our country's 50 years of independence. And just to celebrate that, we have commemorated by participating in the PNGDF Week by dressing up our ships We're having ships from other partnering navies as well, especially bilateral countries in Australia, France, India, Tongans, and you also have other partnering navy countries who have flown in as well to celebrate with us. So it's a special occasion just for us to showcase what we do, so that the public can appreciate what the PNGDF maritime element personnels do out at sea, what we do on board our ships, and what tasks especially we do in this organization.
That is part of the open day. We will show you some more of that at the other end of this break. This is the Fleet Review, the live telecast coming to you courtesy of TV1, NBC TV, and MTV as we celebrate Papua New Guinea's Golden Jubilee Independence celebrations. Be back shortly.
Very proud. Probably at that time of my life, it was I was early 20s, and probably still finding myself. It wasn't until I was in camp with my fellow Papua New Guineans I felt comfortable, and when we sang the anthem together, it just I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. It's especially such a humble anthem as well. Even now, every time, it's quite moving when you sing it and you know who you're representing. From that moment on, I knew that I wanted to play for Papua New Guinea and I wanted to give back in any way I could. Happy 50 years anniversary, Papua New Guinea. Here's the unity, culture and progress.
You're back to the Fleet Review as we celebrate Papua New Guinea's Golden Jubilee celebrations. As we await for the Governor-General to go to APEC House to receive all these ships, and there's a bit of a formality there that we'll bring to you a little later in the show. But as we wait for that to happen, we'll see a little bit more of the open day that the people of Port Moresby were allowed to go on board some of the ships and experience the kind of life the sailors face.
William, able seaman, me work as one engineer on board, MTP1. We don't have illegal display lawyer, more sometimes equipment, we play Simantablo Solwara. Display boarding vest where all boarding parties are wearing time people like checking all fishing boat or illegal ship. All boarding parties are hook up inside lab, all wearing this like kisi weapon. Now can call up boat na go outside go check him ship. One kind this la two legally life jacket, the safety boat driver. Boat driver bro, this la legally boat so very this la. Time going in time bro suppose boat itani mo boat singo kind of same suppose wara tatsi member inflate suppose I'm inflate manually and pull him this like yellow pla. When I'm manually activate him to inflate. This plan now I'm solar's life jacket. I'm this life jacket and suppose CP5 or kind of same. I'm plus I wear him this because I can keep him you afloat for months, weeks. And this all gas to play suppose inflate them by stability time so I can slack na iba sing one time. This ba keep you afloat enough or rescue up you. I'm can sarong ba time reflector suppose night or line pain you sets ba light kisim ba reflect wara touchim ba light ba on lap lo indicating lo night suppose look you na disla whistle lo like certain send lo line rescue suppose no looking you can blowing whistle suppose no strong blowing out blowing whistle na so basically disla what life jackets disla gas bottle ba mi dusim lo colleague lo mi can explain him.
Brief on this time breathing apparatus, or the other name we call it Taukaba. This is the mask, gas bottle containing oxygen. So the purpose of this is like conducting a fire, toxic gas, smoke on board.
Yeah, part of that experience on board some of the ships there. Yeah? Lieutenant Commander,
That's right,
tell us
sir.
about that. Huh?
Well, that was the HMPNG's Rokus Lokenab. You had two sailors just demonstrating some of the equipments that we have on board. We do have our own firefighting capabilities and also warfighting capabilities.
And these would be some of the live pictures now as the ships are maneuvering, I suppose, getting into position for the fleet review?
Exactly, sir. They're positioning themselves to conduct the first salutes at exactly 10 o'clock this morning, sir.
Okay, at exactly 10 o'clock, so we've got about 20 minutes or so. Because the ships are going to sail past APEC House, and they'll take a salute from the Governor General, or they'll salute the Governor General. He will reciprocate, and that is quite the timing. I mean, ships move slowly and all that, so the timing will have to be immaculate for that.
That's correct, sir. They have to be precise. So with these ships, they're all fast crafts, so if they fall behind, they can adjust to cater for that.
Okay, slow down.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fantastic. Just look at that, majestical.
She's beautiful.
Something we haven't seen in Port Moresby for however many years, since independence, if you like. Yes, take that in, that picture. Just amazing. There are more of those ships. Just go through those, and the number of ships that will be coming through that. There is the Toropo, Locking Up, and there is the Ted Dero. That's the PNG vessels. What about other vessels from?
Yes, sir. Well, you have the Kadmat from India and the Augusto Benedict from France, and also we have the Voya Nuha Kulau from Tonga, and also the HMAS Childers from the Royal Australian Navy who have participated with us. Also with that, so we also have the HMAS Chulz. She's currently docked alongside, providing support, logistic support for Australian Defence Force support teams on the ground.
Bradley?
Yeah, so this, basically looking at it, it's a show of military strength over water. But also, I think in this instance, Lieutenant Commander, it's more ceremonial in this peacetime.
That's correct, Mr. Talinaki. Most times with the ships, they don't come in together in company, they travel alone, lone wolves. So this is an opportune time for our sailors and also regional partners to operate together, interoperate. So it achieves a lot of benefits for all. That would be the HMS Childers from Australia, currently on screen. Sir.
And that one on the screen now?
That is the HMPNGS Rokus Lokenap with the side number 402.
Yeah, with those numbers on the side, can you explain a bit to us what those codes mean, 402?
Well, every vessel on the water has international radio call signs. For the military crafts, that's like a designator number. So for this particular class, you have 4 of them. So in sequence order, you have 401 for Ted Dero, 402 for Rokus Lock It Up, and so on and so forth for the Francis Agui and the Gilbert Toropo with the 4th.
It's more like a plate number of
exactly,
a vehicle.
if you can describe it
like
that
a
way.
registration number of a car.
That's right, sir.
course.
That's
How
right.
about that? I didn't know that, and I'm sure many Papua New Guineans didn't know that. So ships, while they have the open ocean out there to sail and do whatever, they have to be recognized and be referred to, I suppose, and licensed to operate and that kind of thing. And the military has that discipline worked into them.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And, okay, well, at the APEC House, there's probably some activity at APEC House at Ella Beach, and Jasmine's there at Ella Beach near the APEC House. I'm just wondering what she can tell us about what is happening there.
John. Good morning, John. Thank you, John. Okay. You, madam. Thank you, John, and good morning. Good morning, PNG. We are down here at the Ella Beach, and right now the crowd is starting to arrive. We've got vehicles parking here at Ella Beach, and as you can see, we've got some distinguished guests arriving on the APEC, at the APEC building, and behind me we can see some ships inside. We've got the Indian Navy ship, the INS Cadmet, currently leading the way, followed behind by the French Navy ship, which is Auguste Benebig, and a lot of these we will bring to you more on the fleet review today, as well as the crowd and as well as the lead up to today's event. Thank you, John. Over to you back in the studio.
Martha Seri, and you just saw some pictures of how it is. I think it's on the second floor, looking at the southern end of APEC House, where all the leaders are now seated, and I think they're anticipating the arrival of the Governor General, who will, of course, be the main celebrant there, if you will, take the salute from the guns, and the guns will reciprocate. Firing guns. When you say firing guns, people might say, hey, all firing gun, but they're not live or anything.
No, they're not, sir. They're all blank rounds being used for this occasion.
Yes. So that should be quite exciting, and I think those people at APEC House, in that setup, they are important people, quite a number of government ministers, officials, but of course, ranked military members as well would be amongst those VIPs at that stand?
That's correct, sir. We have senior PNGDF officials and also other regional partners also seated amongst the VIPs.
Yeah. When you say regional partners, will the ranking officers or commanders of those particular elements will have accompanied the ships to Papua New Guinea?
Absolutely, sir. You will have respective heads of defense forces from the ships that are represented on the water today. So you have invites sent out to the Tongan Navy and the French and the Indian. So you will either have the head of defense force or senior members of the military seated amongst the VIPs.
So I think it's a very ceremonial activity, a gesture given by the men over water to the dignitaries. How significant is the fleet review, especially ceremonially, or how often do we see this in our lifetime?
Well, in this part of the world, I think one happened possibly in the late 80s, but that was on a smaller scale. For us in PNG, we have never conducted such a fleet review in this magnitude.
Wow. So this is huge.
This is huge.
All right. So I think we have pictures from APEC House again of the dignitaries and members of the PNG Defence Force and also our partners from the region as well.
These are what you were talking about, Commander, of the different ranks that come from the different countries that are participating in this military fleet.
Yes, sir. I think you can see seated in the front row would be just the image that passed. We have the Australian High Commissioner, and next to him would be a U.S. Coast Guard senior official and a Vanuatu Armed Forces senior official seated as well, sir.
So they're looking out to the sea and awaiting the ships to pass by.
That's right, exactly.
Well, in front of that, just in front there, when the Governor General comes in, he will have seated there, and when the cue is given, I suppose the Governor General takes a salute. All that we will see a little later on. But yeah, that's quite a sight, and quite a sight that will go down in memory, I suppose, utilizing the APEC House and how the fleet is being that point is being celebrated at this point.
Yeah, and Lieutenant Colonel, if you can just explain to us how close the ships will be to port or to the coast.
Okay, so from that distance, it'll be about 1,000 yards. So in terms of kilometers, let's say 600 meters away. So with the ships, they will be quite visible, being large, conspicuous objects passing by. Wow. So the Governor General may not be able to see the person on site, but he will definitely see the ship as it passes for the salute, royal salute.
Okay.
But he will definitely hear the gun salute.
Absolutely, sir.
And I'm sure whoever is now at Ella Beach to witness this will be able to see that. Now, I'd like to think that he's kind of doing that maneuvering or turning around to begin this.
Yes,
now,
sir, that would be the waypoints where they start proceeding towards the actual saluting point.
Okay, that bit there with the guns all pointed there, tell us a little bit about that.
So those are artillery blank round guns provided support by the Australian Defence Force. So they shipped that up on the HMAS Jules to support this particular ceremonial aspect of the International Fleet Review.
Okay, those 5 soldiers standing, do they represent all the different elements of the Defence Force?
So you have currently a composite gun crew of PNG Defence Force and Australian Defence Force crews operating those guns. So our men will also be handling those weapons. That is the INS Cadmat positioning herself. So now, sir, you can see the crew lined up on her starboard side, preparing for the actual salute to be given to the Governor General.
That's quite a sight. Now, the other thing, Commander, is that there's a wonderful picture from, I think, at the top of Tuagoba Hill, somewhere there. One of our cameras is up there, looking towards the southwestern end of APEC House. That's APEC House right in the center. For those in Papua New Guinea who don't know what APEC is and where it is, Port Moresby is city is just to the right side of the screen there, and of course and this is where it's all happening. Now the other thing, Commander, is how the crew members of those ships, they will all be in white and they will all be lined up on deck in front, facing the APEC building. And where the Governor General, is that what they do? Can you run us through that?
That is correct, sir. That's the normal formation, normal standard setup when ships go into review. So you will have all the crew lined up on the starboard side or the right-hand side of the ship, facing APEC House. All will be in ceremonial whites. As they pass the Governor General, you will have the ship's company being brought to attention, and the senior officer on that time will deliver the salute to the GG, and the reciprocative action will take place.
Okay.
That's Manubara at the back?
That's Manubara at the background, yes. So you now have the Indian ship and the French naval ship being put into position for the actual run to the review point.
So Manubara Island is just opposite Erekone or Ella Beach, and they're right in front of Ella Beach at the moment.
Yes, yes. And I just saw a little jet, going through, and I think this is an opportune time for those who have that to get at least a closer view of what's going on there.
Absolutely, sir. It's a live spectacle for the residents of downtown. So,
when that happens, what's the sort of rule? How close do you get to the ships when such ceremonial practices do happen? You can see people there.
In terms of civilian craft, we'll advise that they keep as far as possible away from the general line of advance of the vessels. But with the respective naval vessels, they're stationed or distance apart at 600 yards. So that allows that sequence of flow, seamless going through the review.
There are, of course, two guns at APEC House. One is on the southern side. This is towards the eastern side, I'd like to think, pointing towards the sea and the ships. It'll be fired in a act of a salute, almost. Firing is a salute, isn't it?
It is a volley of shots in saluting.
And there you are. That's another angle from the sea looking back into APEC House. And there are the two guns.
Yes, the artillery guns normally are brought out on prestigious occasions where you have very important people, presidential heads of states or royalty. That's the card mark positioning herself for the actual salute. I believe, sir, in about 9 minutes' time it should kick off.
Yeah, the real act will begin in 9 minutes when the ships go past. Lieutenant Commander, you'll give us a rundown of the particulars of all the ships as they go through, what they do, where they've come from, who's on board, and all of that. That'll be quite an experience. That will be happening as of 10 o'clock onwards.
And these are shots on water, back to shore. Wow, like white doves on a boat, all lined up, ready for that ceremonial salute.
It's quite a spectacle when you see a lot of ships on the water maneuvering in coordinated movements. So.
True. And P29 is its registration.
That's the call sign, International Radio Call Sign 4.
Well, we are able to get a camera even on board one of those ships. These pictures are coming to you live from Lieutenant Commander. If you can tell us which ship it is, it'll be good.
Or the previous ship that was in the shot was actually a Papua New Guinean ship, sir. Okay. That's the HMPNG's Ted Dero, and footage of the commanding officer, I believe, was just sighted. Yes.
Is that the one right there?
That's another one. That's the Rockus Locking Up, but the previous one was the Ted Dero.
Wow.
That's the HMPNG's Gilbert Toropo.
I think if our boys can hear us, maybe give us a little bit more of the pictures on board. That's quite exciting of the ship and how the personnel on board those ships are looking at APEC House, Port Moresby, and as they are maneuvering. It'd be good if we get some more shots of that.
This one is actually shot on water from one of the boats facing the other.
Again, these pictures are coming to you from the combined effort of the three televisions in Papua New Guinea, TV1, the host, broadcaster, and of course MTV and NBC TV. We can also go into unfocused shots like that.
Live television.
It's good that it's live, sir, so it brings this picture to all over PNG.
That's another camera up on top of one of the buildings of Togobe Hill, overlooking the ships are all lined up to pass APEC House and will take the salute. And of course, Lieutenant Commander Terence Mugugia will give us a commentary on each ship as it goes past. And there, as you can see, is APEC House. The ships are all lined up. APEC House is over there. Everybody's all set.
So the ship's already lined up towards Corky side, coming back towards APEC.
Exactly. And we keep saying APEC House, APEC House. Of course, Papua New Guinea will know that APEC house was built to reflect or to remember or to mark the significance of Papua New Guinea hosting APEC in 2018. And I think that building was constructed to reference that, but also give it that Papua New Guinea symbolic design of the Lakatoy almost.
Yep, on Era Kone, or Ella Beach as it is known now.
Okay. Era Beach. We say Ella Beach, but it's Era Beach, and Era is a turtle, isn't it?
Era Kone, that's correct.
Yeah. Bradley, you're from Central, you would know that.
So at the moment we can see the ships lined up. We are anticipating the arrival of the Governor General, who is the host, and then he will give that salute.
P301, is that locking up? Is that Diro or is that Toropo?
Sir, that is the Tongan Navy
That's
patrol
the Tongan.
boat. Yes, sir. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see our Pacific neighbors from our One Solwara coming on board for this one, for the country's 50th anniversary. I mean, the region, in terms of the maritime element, are we seen as the big brother, if you will, to the Pacific region?
You can say that, yes. Land mass and personnel, in terms of the Defense Force composition, we are larger. So we are considered as the elder brother.
Good insights there. So it's like when the big brother is flexing the muscles, the smaller brother is by its side.
Yes, coincidentally, we did attend one of their fleet reviews last year, so it's sort of a reciprocating favor.
I think that picture there is symbolic. I really think it is.
Absolutely.
With the PNG flag and a young kid looking at 3 or 4 ships out there, and everybody's up and alert and into attention. I take it that the Governor General will have arrived or something to that effect. We'll soon know about that. I think he has. And everybody is standing up. The Governor General has arrived, and with him is the head of the Papua New Guinea Defense Force, and that behind him. Commander, you can tell us about who's there.
You have the Chief of the Papua New Guinea Defense Force, Rear Admiral Philip Polawara. You also have distinguished military heads of chiefs of defense forces also present, and also other senior PNGDF military officials as well, and other invited VIPs.
You're getting a last-minute brief?
I believe that would be ear protection against the
Yeah. So that they can
artillery guns going
give
off.
the cue to when to take the salute or give the salute.
That's right, sir.
And just of that shot, a shot of that ship out there, how the sailors were all in white and standing in front there. That is quite a scene, you know. This is symbolic. It is significant. It can never happen. That's what I was talking about. That ship there with all the sailors all in white, all in front. And that is done only on very rare occasions.
Very rare occasions.
And this is one of them.
I believe that's the Indian ship.
That is the INS Kadmat. That's right. So it's
we're right on 10 o'clock, and how the military arranged that, and they're pretty precise and disciplined about time. 10 o'clock, and it is about to start. The ships will sail across for them to take the salute from the Governor General, and they will do likewise. There goes the gun salute.
So the INS Kadmat is the second of the 4 indigenous anti-submarine warfare corvettes built as part of the Indian Navy's Project 28. Her home port is INS Kandaba in Kanwa, Karnataka in India. The INS Kadmat is 109 meters long, 12.8 meters wide, displaces 3,000 tons and has a top speed of 25 knots. The ship gets her name from Kadmat Island, known as Cardamom Island. This is the second Indian ship of the name Kadmat, the previous being a Pattaya-class ship acquired in the 1960s and decommissioned in 1993. The reincarnation of this ship's name symbolizes the tradition that a ship never dies and thus takes over the legacy from her predecessor. Equipped with the state-of-the-art weapons and sensors for detecting and neutralizing underwater threats, the INS Kadmat plays a vital role in safeguarding India's maritime interests, strengthening diplomatic and naval ties with partner nations across the Indo-Pacific region.
That's looking at that ship from Ella Beach. A number of people have turned out for this.
And the Indian ship passing by.
You will have the Indian ship passing at the saluting point. As soon as she passes on, they will fall out from the saluting position, and the Governor General will also remain standing for the next sequence of ships coming in.
And that's still the Indian ship right there?
Sir, that would be the French naval ship, the Auguste Benebig.
That'll be the next one
Next
to take
in
the
the
salute
line.
from the
That's right,
Governor
sir.
General?
That's right, sir.
The French, by the way, of course, their presence in the Pacific is quite important, and that is now made more, given significance with their decision to be part of our celebrations here, because French is a country virtually on the other side of the world, you know, other side of Papua New Guinea, but they have a presence in the Pacific, and this is for the French ship. He's taking the salute. That's the second one. So, Commander, if you can give us an account of the French ship.
Absolutely, sir. The FNS, or French Navy ship Auguste Benebig, was commissioned in 2023. She is a Felix Ibu-class offshore patrol vessel based in New Caledonia. She is 80 meters long, 11.8 meters wide, displaces 1,300 tons, and has a top speed of 24 knots. The vessel is named after a decorated French war hero of the Second World War, Auguste Benebig, who distinguished himself at the Battle of Bir Hakeim. FNS Auguste Benebig has her own craning capabilities and possesses 2 8-meter swift inflatable boats, and even has its own survey drone, which is launched by catapult and recovered by a net. All of this supports maritime surveillance, humanitarian missions, and regional cooperation in the South Pacific.
This is for peaceful purpose right now that the ships are performing that. I'm just wondering whether they've been part of military actions in their lifetime.
You would think so, sir. There's ongoing security operations within countries.
And there are a few Papua New Guineans, patriotic Papua New Guineans. That's another ship. Where would that be from? That looks like Papua New Guinea.
Yes, sir, that would be one of our own ships. I believe that would be the PNGS Gilbert Toropo.
And our camera is on Toropo, and it's a vision that's coming, a rare vision that's coming from that end, and I think the guns have gone off in salute. So give us an account on the Toropo.
Absolutely, sir. The HMPNG's Gilbert Toropo was commissioned in 2024. She is the 4th Guardian-class patrol vessel to be acquired by the PNGDF through the PNG Australia Defence Cooperation Program. She's named after the former chief of the PNGDF, Major General Gilbert Toropo. Major General Gilbert Toropo has served as the chief of the PNGDF from 2014 to 2020. Along with her sister PNG Guardian class patrol vessels, the HMPNG's Gilbert Toropo is critical in maintaining maritime security for all PNG and protecting our maritime borders and interests at sea.
And 404 is the fourth commander of the Defence Forces. Registration would show?
That is the international radial call signs, yeah?
Call sign, yes.
This is one of the ships that's used to patrol in PNG waters.
Yes, sir. So she does.
And the shots have gone off for the next ship to, in this fleet review, the next ship would be?
So the next ship in the formation is the HMPNG's Ted Diro. Ted Diro was commissioned in December of 2018. She is the first Guardian class patrol boat that was delivered under the PNG Australia Defence Corporation program and was built by Austal in Anderson, Western Australia. She has a range of 3,000 nautical miles and at 12 knots and is equipped with a stern launching ramp which can house a pursuit boat which increases her search and rescue capabilities. She is named after the PNG's first Defence Force commander, Grand Chief Brigadier Ted Diro. He served as a commander from independence in 1975 until 1981. So the Ted Diro conducts maritime surveillance, fisheries protection and sovereignty patrols across PNG's vast maritime domain.
And that's what most of our ships do, whether it's Diro or Toropo or Lockenup. They are, apart from other military purposes, they also are in surveillance and protection of our fisheries, economic zones and all that. Governor General, all poised for the next. We will have another gun salute for the next ship. And Lieutenant Commander, you will give us an account of the next ship as the salute is given.
Yes, sir.
Austal in Henderson, Western Australia. He has a range of 3,000 nautical miles at 12 knots.
APEC House, at the back, Port Moresby City. This is the live telecast of the fleet review by the three television stations of Papua New Guinea, MTV, NBC TV, and TV1, the headquarters, the hub with which we are coming from, which we are coming from. And this is marking Papua New Guinea's 50th independence Golden Jubilee celebration.
Sovereignty patrols across PNG's vast maritime domain.
That is the Rocco's locking up.
That is correct, sir. That's the HMPNG's Rocco's locking up in view. She will be the one proceeding next in the queue for the reviewing. Salute.
And 402 symbolizes that he was the second.
Yes, sir.
There it is. Can't go wrong with that.
Ship Rocco's locking up of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force, commanded by Lieutenant Vincent Kelly, with a crew of
So the HMPNG's Rocco's locking up was commissioned in 2021. She is the second Guardian class patrol boat vessel delivered under the PNG Australia Defence Corporation program. She is named after PNG's second Defence Force commander, Brigadier General Rocco's locking up. Former Brigadier General Rocco's locking up served as the commander of the PNGDF from 1987 to 1992 and was the first senior officer at that time who was not from the Papuan region but from New Ireland province. So the HMPNG's Rocco's locking up plays a vital role, like the other patrol boats in the PNGDF, in securing PNG's waters, also conducting border patrols, maritime surveillance and protecting important fisheries.
And the one after that?
That'll be the Voya Nahau Kula, which was commissioned in 2019 by the Tongan Navy and is also a Guardian class patrol vessel, also gifted under the Australia's Pacific Maritime Security Program. She is, like the other Guardian class patrol boats, 39.5 meters long, 8 meters wide, and has a top speed of 20 knots. She's specially designed to be able to accommodate crews of mixed gender. So the vessel was involved in the response to the 2022 Tongan volcanic eruption and tsunami, which evacuated all residents of Mango Island to Tongatapu Island on the Tongan main islands. So the vessel's name, Nahau Kula, means golden arrow, symbolizing speed, precision, and national pride for the Tongan Navy. She conducts fisheries patrols and supports disaster response throughout Tonga's waters.
Well, there you are. And which ship is going to be next in this fleet review?
So you will have the last ship information, which will be the HMAS Childers.
Under Australia's Pacific Maritime Security Program. She is 39.5 meters long, 8 meters wide, and has a top speed of 20 knots. She was specially designed to be able to accommodate crews of mixed gender. The vessel was involved in the response to the 2022 Hanga Ha'apai eruption.
Yep, and the guns go off for the next vessel.
Yes, the last vessel in the formation is the HMAS Childers from the Royal Australian Navy. She was commissioned on the 7th of July 2007. HMAS Childers is an Armidale-class patrol boat, also built by Austal Ships in Fremantle, so currently calling HMAS Coonawarra in Darwin her home port. She is 56.8 meters long, has a beam of 9.7 meters, displaces 300 tons, and has a top speed of 25 knots. So she's equipped with a 125 millimeter gun and two 12.7 millimeter machine guns on the sides. So the Armidale class patrol boats are the Navy's principal contribution to the national fisheries protection, immigration, customs and law enforcement operations in Australia. So the vessels work hand in hand with other government agencies as part of the Australian Border Force.
Yes, and that ship has been in action, particularly patrolling its waters against illegal Asian fishermen who kind of go into their economic zones and fish. And I think this vessel has been part of those reports about capturing illegal fishermen and things like that.
That is correct, sir. We work a lot with our partners in Australia, particularly down in the southern waters. So yes, sir.
And that's the last of the ships. Have we got any more?
That, I believe, would be the last ship coming in formation, which was the HMAS Childers, sir.
Okay, we'll get a closer look at that.
So what you see now would be the Armidale at the very back and the Guardian class patrol boat just before that.
Displaces 300 tons and has a top speed of 25 knots. She's equipped with 125mm Naval M242 Bushmaster and two 12.7mm machine guns.
A shot of the Childers there.
Class patrol boats are the Navy's principal contribution to the nation's...
Yeah, a bit windy there. Everything's a little bit shaky down there.
It's going to pick up as we move towards midday today,
yes.
sir, as you can see.
Well, there you are.
Wow.
So at the end of the formation, we have the national PNG flag being hoisted by our own Bell 212 PNGDF aircraft.
Okay.
So that...
That aircraft will also be used in the next couple of days for the
That's
other
correct,
program.
that's correct, for the Air Wings celebrations.
This fleet review is a celebration...
Well, how loud can you get a picture like that of the flag of Papua New Guinea? In the skies, over Port Moresby, in front of Ella Beach, before APEC House and the Governor General.
So, sir, as you can see, the ships have sailed past the review point. They've saluted the Governor General. Now they are loitering in position and preparing to proceed back to their designated berths and anchorages again.
Okay.
So they are parked, basically?
Well, you can say parked. They're just floating on the water,
That's
yes.
a wider shot of the Defence Force chopper. Tell us about the chopper that's flying up there.
So that's one of our own two Bell 212s that is based out of ATW. So it's flown by contracted Australian pilots. It's on loan to the PNGDF, but we have our crews and co-pilots also embedded amongst that Bell 212. So as you can see, it is part of the fleet review formation, traveling at the back of the last ship, closing the formation as she passed for the last salute.
It takes special skills to fly something like that, fly a chopper, and to have the flag flying like that in the skies of nowhere, unless you're seeing it proper. That's magical.
That's correct, sir. So, a lot of confidence and skills. So that's actually a volleyball-size PNG flag you see on the screen. So it's quite conspicuous to people standing on the shorefront.
Okay. Well, if there's a picture, if there's a moment, if there's a scene you'd like to remember as part of this military fleet, then that's the one right there. Flying past APEC House, and at the front will be the Governor General, who will have seen this, and he will have saluted it. A proud moment.
So at this stage, you would have the national anthem being played at the APEC House, or will all the VIPs plus the GG would be upstanding?
Again, these are soldiers. Some of them would be the Australian military, as well as the Papua New Guinean military, Papua New Guinean Defence Force soldiers.
Yes, sir. The gun crews had cross-training initially prior to the actual firing of the guns. So it is a combination gun crew of Australian Defence Force personnel and Papua New Guinea Defence Force personnel.
Papua New Guinea and Australia, of course, share a long history as a nation of bilaterals, and also including the Second World War.
Well, the chopper's making a return. It's coming back to APEC House. And I think if our folks down there will give us a wide shot, and there's a wide shot of the flag. It's an exciting moment. Even our cameramen are excited. They're zooming in. They want to have a closer look at this.
I would imagine a lot of people on the shorefront would have a lot of goosebumps this particular time.
Yes. They have their mobile phone cameras as well already, getting that shot.
And look at that. How great is that? How symbolic is that? How meaningful is that?
Absolutely, sir. So on the picture, you'll have the Tongan ship proceeding back alongside HMPNG's Basilis Naval Base.
Yes.
So they're heading back to the old Fairfax Harbour?
That's right. So the ships will go berth and prepare for the Freedom of Entry March that will happen later on this afternoon, conducted by the sailors of all the participating ships.
And all those people standing there would be Paga Point, back to the Governor General.
Yes, sir.
And the head of the PNGDF. They almost wear identical, not uniforms, what do you call them, military. You have different ones for different occasions, and this would be fitting to today's occasion.
Yes, sir, exactly. This is a ceremonial. As you can see, the Governor General is an honorary naval rank, so he's donned in his naval attire for this occasion.
Okay, is the honorary.
Yes,
Just explain that a little bit to our viewers.
Well, sir, in terms of honorary, they adopt a certain domain, if you'd like. So the king himself put on a land element garb or attire. So the Governor General, traditionally all Governor Generals from previous years up until now have been given honorary naval ranks.
Okay.
So any military celebrations, they will come out in that particular kit.
Yeah, he looks in control there.
That would be, I believe, the end of the occasion, formalities.
Grand Chief and Commandant General of Papua New Guinea, Sir Bob.
And takes a bow in front of all the visiting dignitaries at the APEC House. That's APEC House there. Port Moresby to the right of your screen.
Refreshments, and thank you for attending this very important occasion. Thank you.
All this happened over a span of 20 minutes, but the planning phase took us at least 3 to 4 months trying to coordinate and get mobilized
absolutely.
all the
Particularly
resources.
the timing of the maneuvering of the ships.
Absolutely,
I think you don't do that overnight.
No, you don't, sir. And, it was a job well done to all the ship's commanding officers and crews because we had a little under 7 days to interoperate and understand each other's language and execute a perfect plan.
Absolutely. I was going to say that. Wouldn't there be... I mean, I think the military language is the same all over the world. You know what to do, but of course, certain elements that are quite unique to different countries.
That's right.
But you've got to be on the same page with this kind of activity.
Absolutely, sir. I believe it also speaks volumes on the professionalism of the sailors, our sailors, being able to conduct such an event.
One question on the waterfront of Ella Beach. How difficult is it to maneuver around that area, considering the size of the ships and the numbers coming in and out in this exercise?
Yes, it's quite restricted in terms of the bigger ships. So that's why we had to make adjustments to how the route would pan out towards the end, but we sort of chose the area away from shorewards. So it's quite a tight water space to maneuver ships within. Normally you'd have open waters, but yeah.
And I guess the choice of these smaller vessels is deliberate, taking into account the maneuvers you will have to make in a tight space out there.
Exactly, sir. You're quite correct.
And very close to shore, no pilot ships available.
No
there.
pilot ships and little room for mistakes and errors. But once again, all naval people are trained over and over in terms of precision and timing. So I'm
a layman. I mean, a car you drive on the road, you see. With ships, there's a bit of coral reef around Ella Beach and all that there. So I guess they know.
Absolutely,
they know
sir.
where all the reefs are.
You have the equipment on board to tell you where the dangers are.
Just like aeroplanes, they know where the mountains are.
Exactly, sir. And of course, you always rely on the human eye to see where danger is.
That's a beautiful picture.
That is a beautiful picture, sir.
It's a picture with a statement.
Oh, yes, sir. It's an instrument of power, sir.
And we're just having a re-look at some of these things that we'd just seen earlier. These are scenes that were a little bit earlier that we talked about. We're just having a look at them again.
That would be the PNG's Ted Duro.
Okay, well, that just about completes the formal part of the fleet review. And we'll take a short break here. It's been quite an exciting few moments looking at all the ships and kind of ceremonial actions that they perform in an important time like this, our 50th independence anniversary celebration. So we'll take a short break now and come back to you with more at the other end.
Very proud. Probably at that time of my life, it was early 20s, and probably still finding myself. It wasn't until I was in camp with my fellow Papua New Guineans I felt comfortable, and when we sang the anthem together, it just, I get goosebumps now just thinking about it. It's especially such a humble anthem as well. even now, every time, it's quite moving when you sing it and you know who you're representing. From that moment on, I knew that I wanted to play for Papua New Guinea and I wanted to give back in any way I could. Happy 50 years anniversary, Papua New Guinea. Here's the unity, culture and progress.
Young people and young women like myself can step into this sphere of influence with courage, a vision, and a purpose. This milestone is more than just a personal achievement. It also comes with so much responsibility. We will be carrying on the future generations for the next 50 years to come. We need to ensure that we grow our nation well, to create standards for young people so when they come up they can see that, if she can do it, I can do it too. The main focus here was to give back to my community. If we want to build a country that we will be proud of in the future, we need to work together. I would encourage the youths to be innovative, to be creative, to step out of your comfort zone, seize the moment. Happy 50th anniversary, Papua New Guinea.
You're back to the military fleet review of the Defence Forces of Papua New Guinea, of the region, and some parts of the world. It's been an exciting moment we had earlier on of the ships passing, that symbolic act in front of APEC House where our Governor General took the salute with other members, other military personnel, as well as invited guests in front of APEC House. Now, Lieutenant Commander Terence Mugugia, you've been part of this and commentating about that, talking about that, and just looking back. What can you say about that moment that we just had?
So I believe it's a snapshot of the current 50th that will highlight the challenges that we've come through and the commitment and the resilience of all the personnel to participate and to host the event in this particular time. So yes, sir, it's significant in that sense. Currently, the personnel may not realize it, but in 24 to 48 hours after the event has died down, it will have that significant feel to it. Yes, sir, definitely.
And Bradley?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, we saw 3 ships there from Papua New Guinea participate. Are there more out there for the country in terms of our military capabilities over water?
Yes, we do have 6 vessels in the PNG Defence Force maritime element, 4 patrol boats and 2 landing craft heavies. So the patrol boats are based up in Manus Island, Lombrom Naval Base, and the 2 landing crafts are based down at the Basilisk Naval Base.
Well, thank you for that account. As everybody's packing up and leaving APEC House at Ella Beach here in Port Moresby, we have Martha Sere, who will just sum things up at what just happened and at Ella Beach right now.
Thank you, John. We're coming to you live from Ella Beach, and you have just witnessed the fleet review. You've seen ships go past the APEC House, and now we're getting ready for the Freedom March, which is about to take place, and we will be bringing to you all the live broadcasts right here from the Ella Beach and the APEC House. Thank you. Over to you, John, back in the studio.
And thank you, Martha, Just a moment about this moment here that you two are experiencing, 50 years of Papua New Guinea's independence. I'm a bit lucky because I was there at Independence Day in 1975 at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. That was a moment that we took in, and I will always remember that. This is your time. 50 years is happening at your time. You will remember this in your lives, both of you.
Yeah, I think, John, for me, basically, I'll try my best to look after my health if I can see the next 25 or next 50 years. But, you know, this 50 years is something to behold, and it's a part of history that we're witnessing right now happening before our eyes. Yeah.
And you?
Totally agree with you, sir. It's significant, once in a lifetime. I'm glad I'm alive to witness this, and I'm glad I'm part of the PNGDF week celebrations, contributing towards nationhood and a sense of unity and belonging. Absolutely, sir.
I think now is your time. The screen was all yours today.
Yes.
For the maritime element.
Absolutely.
Must be a good, proud moment for you.
Absolutely. Proud feeling for all Navy people throughout this day. Both current and former, I'd say.
Okay. All right. End of that fleet review as part of celebrations towards the 16th of September, when we all of Papua New Guinea will celebrate our 50th independent golden Jubilee. We have a country, we have democracy, we have the people, we have it. Many countries, some countries don't have it, but we have it. Let's be proud of it. This has been great. We were pretty happy to bring you this fleet review to you. When we will come back to you in the next hour or so to continue our telecast with, I think it is going to be a march from the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium to APEC House again. So we'll bring that to you a little later on in the next hour or two. But for now, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you then.